Okay, dear students, you all are welcome in grade 8 subject science. Today's topic chemical effect of electric current. In that subtopics electrolysis. Electrolysis means what? The process in which electrolyte dissociate into two ions when the current is passed through it. You can see this is electrolytic cell. So one is electrode positive, another is negative. In that electrolytic solution that we can fill electrolyte solution, that is different chemical salt. So let's start chemical effect of electric current. In class 7 we have learned some effect of electric current. Can you list these effects? What effect does the current produce when it flows through the conducting solution? Let's find out. So start this activity number 14.6. In this activity, take out carbon rods carefully from the two discard cells. Clean their metal cap with the sandpaper. Wrap copper wires around the metal cap of the carbon rods and join them with the battery. We can call these two rod electrodes. Here you can show the diagram of electrolytic process passing current through the water. Electrolytic solution we have take as a water, barabar. Then metal cap is there, carbon rod is there. So one carbon rod which is act as a positive electrode and other is negative electrode. We have to connect with the battery as shown in diagram. So you may take two iron nails about 6 cm long. Pour a cup full of water in the glass or plastic bowl. Add teaspoon of salt or few drops of lemon juice to the water. Make it more conducting. Now immerse the electrodes in this solution. Make sure that the metal cap of the carbon rods are outside the water. It should not be inside, right? So wait 3 to 4 minutes. Observe the electrode carefully. Do you notice any gas bubble near the electrodes? Can we call the changes taking place in the solution chemical change? Right? So recall the definition of chemical change that you have learned in grade 7. In 1800, British chemist William Nicholson had shown that electrodes were immersed in water and a current was passed. Bubbles of oxygen and hydrogen were produced. Okay. So in this electrolysis process, you can find out the bubbles of hydrogen and oxygen. So oxygen bubbles form on the electrode connected to the positive terminal of the battery and hydrogen bubbles form on the other electrode. Means oxygen bubbles form on positive terminal of the battery and hydrogen bubbles form on the electrode which connected to the negative. So the passage of an electric current through the conducting solution causes chemical reactions. As a result, bubble of gas may be formed on the electrode. Deposits of metal may be seen on the electrode. So change of color of the solution may occur. The reaction would depend on what the solution and the electrode are used. Which type of electrode? You can use copper rod also, you can use zinc rod also, right? You can use electrolyte, that is that solution. It is also different, copper sulfate, sodium chloride, like that. The reaction would depend on the solution and electrodes are used. These are some of the chemical effects of electric current. Now next point, Bujo decided to test whether some fruits and vegetables also conduct electricity or not, right? Some of the vegetables, right, they also conduct the electricity. Here is one of the experiment that we are going to see. Okay, he cut a potato into two holes, right, and inserted the copper wires of the tester into it. Just then his mother called him and he forgot to make out the wires of the tester inserted into the potato. When he came back after half an hour, he noticed that there was a greenish blue spot on the potato around the wire, whereas there was no such spot around the other wire. You see it is the testing of potato here. Potato is there, cutting potato. It is wired, it is joined by the copper wire with a battery, and you see here you can find this greenish patch. From where it comes? So he was surprised with this observation, and along with the Paheli repeated this activity many times. They found that it was always the wire connected to the positive terminal which had ग्रीनिश ब्लू स्पॉट अराउंड इट. जो वायर पॉजिटिव टर्मिनल पे है ना वही ग्रीनिश कलर का हुआ है. नाउ यू सी द ऑब्जर्वेशन, दिस इज पॉजिटिव टर्मिनल, दिस इज नेगेटिव. पॉजिटिव टर्मिनल पे जो वायर गया है वो आपका ग्रीन ब्लूइश कलर का हुआ है. करेक्ट. सो they felt that this discovery was a very useful because it could be used for identifying the positive terminal of a cell or a battery concealed in a box. They decided to report their finding the children's magazine. Remember that Bujo set out to test whether the potato conducted electricity or not. So what he found was that the current produced a chemical effect into potato. To him, this was very exciting. In fact, this is how science sometimes works. You are looking for something and you discover something else. So many important discoveries have been made in this manner. Now electroplating. You know that a brand new cycle has shiny hand lever and wheel rims. However, if these are accidentally scratched, the shiny coating come off, revealing a not so shiny surface beneath. You might have also seen some women using ornaments which appear to be made up of gold. However, with repeated use, the gold coating wears off, right? So revealing silver or some other metal beneath, right? In both these cases, a metal has a coating of another metal. So do you wonder how a layer of one metal can be deposited on the top another? Well, let us try doing it ourselves. Here we can see the activity of 14.7 which shows the electroplating. We will need copper sulfate, that is electrolyte, copper sulfate and 2 copper plates of size around 10 cm by 4 cm. Take 250 ml of distilled water in clean and dry beaker. Dissolve 2 teaspoons of this copper sulfate in it. Right. So add few drops of dilute sulfuric acid to copper sulfate solution to make it more conducting. है ना. पहले एक बीकर में आप डिस्टिल वाटर लो, उसमें कॉपर सल्फेट डालो थोड़ा, उसके बाद थोड़ा दूसरा केमिकल कौन सा हमने यूज किया है, मेक इट मोर कंडक्टिंग. जरा सॉल्यूशन को स्ट्रॉन्ग करने के लिए यू हैव टू यूज डाइल्यूट सल्फ्यूरिक एसिड. मेक फ्यू ड्रॉप्स एड. Okay, so clean copper plates with sandpaper and now rinse them with the water and dry them. Connect the copper plates to the terminal of the battery and immerse them into the copper sulfate solution. See in figure number 14.7. See, here we are going to use these electroplates. This is a simple circuit showing electroplating. Here copper plate is there. Here is also another copper plate is there, and this solution which is blue in color, it is copper sulfate solution which is act as a electrolyte. So यहाँ electrolyte क्या लिया है, copper sulfate in this electroplating. Now allow the current to pass for a 15 minutes. Now remove the electrode from the solution and look at them carefully. Do you find any difference in any one of them? Do you find any coating over it? What color is the coating? Note down. What color is the coating? Please note down the terminal of the battery with which electrode is connected. After doing the electroplating activity, Paheli interchanged the electrodes and repeated this activity. What do you think she would observe this time? So here is the observation. When electric current is passed through the copper sulfate solution, copper sulfate dissociates into copper and sulfate. The free copper gets drawn to the electrode connected to the negative terminal of the battery and get deposited on it. But what about the loss of copper from the solutions? So from the other electrodes, a copper plate, an equal amount of copper get dissolved into the solution. Thus, loss of copper from the solution is restored and the process continues. This means the copper gets transferred from one electrode to other electrode. You will see that on negative electrode you will find the copper deposited on it, right, from positive terminal. So dear students, the process of depositing a layer of any desired metal on another material by means of electricity is called electroplating. It is one of the most common applications of chemical effect of electric current. Electroplating, it is one of the common applications, one of the use, right? तो इलेक्ट्रोप्लेट यानी सिल्वर पे आपको गोल्ड का प्लेटेड करना है, गोल्ड का कवर चढ़ाना है, तो आपको क्या करना पड़ेगा, वो जो सिल्वर जी सपोज सिल्वर की स्पून है उसको आपको सोने का कवर चढ़ाना है, तो सिल्वर की स्पून को आप नेगेटिव इलेक्ट्रोड पे अटैच कर दो और पॉजिटिव पे आपको गोल्ड रखना पड़ेगा, ओरिजिनल गोल्ड. तो क्या होगा, व्हेन द इलेक्ट्रिक प्रोसेस स्टार्ट, इलेक्ट्रोप्लेटिंग स्टार्ट, व्हेन द करंट इज पासिंग फॉर अ फ्यू टाइम्स, after that you will find that gold which will be cover of the gold which will be coated on that spoon, right? After some hours you can find electroplating. So this type of process which is used by the goldsmiths, so it is one of the most common applications of chemical effect of electric current. Electroplating is a very useful process. It is widely used in industries of coating materials object with thin layer of different metals. The layer of the metal deposited has some desired property which is the metal of the object legs. For example, chromium plating is done by many objects such as car parts, bath taps, kitchen gas burner, bicycle handlebars and wheel rims and many others. बराबर, जो क्रोमियम का जो ऊपर लेयर चढ़ाया है, राइट, तो इलेक्ट्रोप्लेट से किया है, बराबर. You see that the chromium has a shiny appearance. It does not corrode. उसके ऊपर काट भी नहीं लगता है, right? It does not corrode. So it resists the scratches. However, the chromium is expensive and it may not be economical to make the whole object out of chromium. So the object is made from the cheaper metal and only coating of chromium over it deposited. Jewelry makers electroplate. Here you can find the electroplate, barabar, of this car. Chromium is there. Here in rim of the wheel chromium you can find, right? The things that we use in our house, it is also electroplated by chromium. This cycle bar, it is also electroplated. So these are the applications of electroplating objects. So silver and gold on less expensive metals, right? आप सिल्वर के ऊपर गोल्ड का लेयर चढ़ाओगे तो वो गोल्ड जैसा लगेगा, लेकिन गोल्ड है नहीं. क्या किया है, इलेक्ट्रोप्लेट किया है. So these ornaments have the appearance of silver or gold but are much less expensive. So tin can used for storing food are made by electroplating tin on the iron. आयन का जो थीन लेयर होता है उसके ऊपर वो टीन यानी इट इज वन ऑफ द मेटल, सो टीन का कवर चढ़ाया है, इलेक्ट्रोप्लेट किया है. सो टीन इज अ लेस रिएक्टिव देन आयन. थस food does not come into contact with the iron and is protected from getting spoiled. Correct. Iron is used in bridges and automobiles to provide strength. However, iron tends to corrode and rust. आयन, सिर्फ आयन मेटल तो रस्ट हो जाता है, इसलिए हमें क्या करना पड़ता है, कोटिंग ऑफ जिंक इज डिपोजिटेड ऑन आयन टू प्रोटेक्ट इट फ्रॉम कोरोजन एंड फॉर्मेशन ऑफ रस्ट. इसलिए हमें कोटिंग करना पड़ता है, किसका, जिंक का. तो वो कैसे करते हैं वो कोटिंग हम इलेक्ट्रोप्लेट से करते हैं, राइट. तो ब्रिजेस आपका जो है वो पूरा आयन का बना है, बट वी हैव टू कोट इट ऑफ जिंक. so it protects from the corrosion, है ना, वो काट से बचता है, रस्टिंग से बचता है, और वो so in the electroplating factories the deposit of the used conducting solution is a major concern. It is a pollution waste and there are specific disposal of guidelines to protect the environment. So dear student, here is the core of this chapter. Chapter is over here. There are some instructions regarding that periodic assessment test PAT. You have already read the notice in our group 8. Tomorrow will be the exam, right? So you have to prepare which chapters that I am going to tell you now. Generally in that paper it is asked from algebraic expression, then area of polygon, solid shape, surface area, volume, cube, cuboid, cylinder objects. So prepare these chapters, and these exam bills compulsory for all the students. Before 4th January you have to submit me. You have to write down in notebook or one of the supplementary that you can prepare by yourself also. Okay, so before 4th January you have to submit me, right? In that notice it is written there in PDF format you have to submit, okay? And then submit me on before 4th of January, that notebook or that supplementary, okay? So have a nice day. Thank you.